Today we're going to answer the question of why a business needs to be on social media. Now, I'm not a super extremist adherent like some people are and say every single business needs social media. In fact, I do believe that a lot of small businesses are spending way too much time working with social media and not enough time actually making money. Especially people who call themselves businesses who are really just one person shows trying to get things started. If you're at that point, you should probably try and make some money first. However, if you're a big business or you have the ball rolling, social media is almost a must. Even if you're a brick and mortar business. And there's so many reasons for that. So let's start with the biggest one, or one of the biggest, virality. Guess what? People will talk about your company. People tend to talk on social media, whether it's Twitter, YouTube, or whatever else is out there. And guess what? If you do something bad or your employee out of the hundreds of thousands does something bad, that tends to spread virally. That's kind of the nature of social media. One person shares a picture or video to her 100 followers. Two of those people share it. And it just very quickly spreads to millions of people. And this has happened in good and bad ways. In bad ways, it's happened where things like a national postal delivery service, is caught mishandling one of their packages and just like tossing it over the fence. And it's caught on a security camera, posted online, and it goes viral, and people swear off of using that postal service. It's happened with airlines. Recently, a video was taken of a girl who was kicked off the airlines by a flight stewardess because she didn't move fast enough and put the package up. And it was completely unjust, and she was crying, and she didn't have much time. And for me, from my perspective, it seemed like the flight stewardess was kind of new at this, and she wanted to like make a decision. So she said, "I'm going to kick you off." So it was a bit of inexperience, in my opinion. But a lot of other people just thought this was horrible on not just the part of the employee, but the whole airlines. And they spread that message, and it got shared to millions of people. It got hit up on Reddit, and guess what? A lot of people swore off that airlines, and even those who didn't, they had a huge negative image of that brand. And you don't need to be a business expert to know what that's going to do to the reputation and branding of an airline like that, especially in a cutthroat industry like airlines, where every little thing to differentiate yourself from your competitor matters. So that's one reason. Now, social media doesn't always have to be bad. Virality can spread in the positive way too, as has happened with a lot of done, prepared social media campaigns. Some of them, they were prepared and paid for, and this generated tremendous amounts of press and virality and goodwill towards specific companies, from also specific airlines who have created these awesome, campaigns, to, apps, to games, to soda companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Honestly, I am very, very surprised, because most big businesses, they get social media wrong, because they're walking around with their heads chopped off. They've never used it. Everyone who's thought about it is like this 50-year-old, 60-year-old guy who has never used it. They just, think they know what they're doing. And I feel like these people fail at this. And they throw money at stuff that shouldn't be thrown money at. Like, you have to be careful which platform you spend money on, if you don't know the culture behind who's behind these platforms, what the content is like. Like a 6-second video on Vine, that's a completely different medium from something long form like YouTube. So understanding a culture matters too. However, having said that, I'm just so surprised about how certain companies have done it very well. Coca-Cola has been doing a great job reaching out and interacting and sponsoring and bringing brand awareness for their product to popular YouTubers, to Instagram accounts, to Viners, to everything. They even reached out to esports, and that's a very new type of area. It's not new in the sense that people who are in it, they know the value of it. People in esports, specifically League of Legends esports, they know that hundreds of thousands of people congregate together to to watch these people play competitively. And once a year, millions come together to watch the final world championship match. And it's a huge market. However, people outside of it, they're very confused about this. So as to why social media is important, it's a huge way of getting your message out. Because guess what? Everyone online on the internet, for the most part, they have some form of social media where they're connecting with other people. Whether it's an esports professional gamer who has a Facebook page of 50,000 people, or a YouTuber who's vlogging his daily life and he has 1 million people who watch his videos on a daily basis, such as Roman Atwood, or whatever it is, these people have a platform to leverage. And websites are still a thing, but outside of websites, I think the only real big player nowadays is social media. And that's incredible. And I think it will always be here. It will just keep getting better and better. So it's not a matter of should you hop on or not. This stuff's going to be around until the end of time, until Judgment Day. So you might want to hop on. Now, finally, I mean, I could talk about this all day, but finally, let's get to small-time businesses. So for small-time businesses or medium-sized businesses, how should you use social media? Well, generally speaking, what you want are more sales and more customers. So guess what? A lot of people, they just put out stuff and they're like, okay, I'm just going to, get my money back immediately. Where's the immediate return? Now, I think anyone who's smart in terms of their actual business, forget social media, they know that they want to play the long-term game. So, social media aside, that sometimes the best strategy is not to get the sale right away from the customer and never speak to that person again. Sometimes it's good to develop a long-term relationship so that person keeps coming back again and again. And over time, maybe he won't buy from you immediately, but if you get him to like, know, and trust you, then he will buy from you. And not only that, your brand recognition, your brand reputation, that will be there for a long time. Just think of these big brands, Coca-Cola, Gucci, Patron. They have these premium prices because they've developed that sort of image. Same thing with Dr. Dre Beats headphones. Now, on social media, of course, you can get that immediate return if you're willing to pay for ads on these platforms or sponsors. You can approach these influencers and you can get them to pay for it. And oftentimes, that's a very good strategy and that can work if you know how to execute it. Heck, even if you don't, I mean, sometimes it doesn't take that much brains to figure it out. It will for someone who has no idea about social media, but I would say more so than that, consider some of the free stuff. And what I mean by that is it's free to start a YouTube account, a Twitter account, an Instagram account, and post weekly good content. Too many people take this free platform and they don't understand it. So they just shoot out commercials. Who wants to come to some place where it's just every week, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff? People subscribe to newspapers, or people subscribe to blogs or websites or YouTube channels, or they follow people on Twitter because they want some type of weekly or daily or consistent value. So people make two big mistakes when they're using social media for business. The first big one is they're not giving value. They're not doing consistent value giving in some way. The second is that, like it or not, they're not doing it consistently. Maybe they'll post for a week or a day, and then they'll go for a 3-month vacation, and the whole Twitter account's just empty. You can't get the snowball rolling if you're not consistently building that snowball to fall down that mountain and grow larger and larger. But if you do, I personally think that this can grow into something incredible. And I've seen this occur very well for a lot of YouTube accounts who have just consistently plugged away and put in valuable content on a daily or weekly or monthly basis. And it's grown and grown and grown. And it didn't happen overnight. It took them many, many years, 3 or 4 years. But now they've hit that long tail where they have just grown such a presence that, guess what? Every day, without them even having to try, hundreds of thousands of people are discovering them and subscribing to their content. It's amazing, really. So you don't need hundreds of thousands of people. Maybe you just need one or two more customers. That can make a huge difference to your business. So that's social media in a nutshell. There's obviously more to it. I could obviously talk about this for a long time, but that's the meat of what I have to say about why social media is important for business. Now, is it the end all be all? No. Should every business be on social media? No. Should every business be on every platform? No. I feel like sometimes you don't want to spread yourself too thin. Certain platforms work better with certain, products or services or companies. If you're selling insurance, Vine's probably going to work really, really bad for you. And finally, the last thing I have to say is that for social media, for any of this, it's very important to, realize that it's not a overnight type game, and you have to keep plugging away and deliver value. And the best people who do this, they also engage with their viewers and followers. So if you go to some of the successful businesses using social media, DiGiorno's, for instance, or Old Spice, or maybe you've heard of The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, he is literally killing it on Facebook and YouTube. And one of the big reasons is because whoever manages their social media really understands it. And more so than that, whoever manages their social media engages with their followers and, talks back to them and, responds with very clever things, very clever, relevant pictures and funny inside jokes. And it's from this corporate type Facebook page, but it's still very, down to earth and personal. They know it's not Jimmy Fallon talking to them. They know it's like the organization behind it, but they love it. People love it still. And I think the biggest reason why Jimmy Fallon is just blowing up on social media, and let me tell you, I've watched him grow over the last few years, and he severely overtook Jimmy Kimmel, who had a huge head start on social media. Kimmel had a ton more followers and subscribers. Now, Kimmel's still doing really, really well. Maybe he'll come back, but right now, Fallon is just killing it. And honestly, when you look at his Facebook page and his YouTube, what he does well is whoever manages that, whatever team manages that, they understand it to a T. They understand how Facebook works, and they use it so well. For instance, most people, even people who understand social media, they have failed to put in native videos to Facebook, which pretty much means that you can upload videos directly to Facebook and they will autoplay. Most people, they will leave a YouTube link in their Facebook. And guess what? Facebook doesn't favor that. It doesn't autoplay. It's just this ugly looking link that's not going to work as well. So it's these small things that Facebook, about Facebook that have made, incremental improvements that have led to exponential, disproportionate results. The final thing I want to say, is that, with Facebook, just another example of how Jimmy Fallon does it really well. And I've only seen a couple Facebook pages who really understand this. The other one is Tipsy Bartender, who also has millions of followers on there. Whoever understands it, they understand that platform so well. So what they will do is they will post a piece of content that day, whether it's a video, a photo, an article, a lot of text, whatever it is. And they have noticed that if you are the owner of that Facebook page, you can post in a comment in that piece of content you just threw out, and Facebook will automatically push that content to the top. What this allows is it allows more amplification of your message so that more people will see it in your comments. And guess what? Jimmy Fallon's, whoever does that, props to him or her. I think it's a her based off how they talk. She understands that very well. And almost every post, she'll do a few comments with a few quirky photos and stuff to engage with the community that's responding to the piece of content they put out. And I mean, I feel like she's doing things 98% awesome. I think there's a little bit more she can do, but that would be for another video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Peace.